Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. Can you see my slides that I have shared?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let's start our class. Today, it is the last topic that I'm going to cover. It is in continuation with the previous clustering techniques, which we have discussed in the last week. As you know, there are two principles which are being followed to do the clustering. One principle is based on partitioning technique. So partitioning technique based clustering we have discussed in the last class. The another principle, it is called the hierarchical clustering. Today we are going to discuss these clustering techniques. So the plan of our talk is the algorithm which we follow based on the principle of hierarchical clustering. And side by side, also it is important to learn how the quality of a cluster can be evaluated. So these are the two topics that we are going to cover in today's class, and it will take around 1 hour plus, right? Maybe 1.5 hours or so. After that, we shall come back to the discussion of question and answers. Now, so it is a new concept, new technique. In contrast to the previous technique, that is the partition-based algorithm, here the idea is based on two concepts, either splitting or merging. What is the idea of the splitting? So initially, suppose this is the one cluster. So the splitting says that this cluster can be divided into this kind of subclusters. So this is called the splitting. On the other hand, what is the merging? Suppose you have, these are the right cluster. There are many clusters. The idea of the merging is so that merge these two clusters into one, right? These two clusters into one, and they remain unmerging, so remain like this. So this way, it is called the merging. So these two concepts are hierarchical, and this kind of concept, that means splitting, is called divisive. So it is called the divisive clustering, and then merging, that means merging two smaller clusters into a larger one, is called agglomerative clustering. So this is agglomerative, and this one is divisive concept. Now here, few things that we have to learn about. How or what criteria that we should follow to split a larger cluster into a smaller clusters. Also, what are the criteria that we can follow to merge two smaller cluster into larger one. So if we understand these two things, then the concept of hierarchical algorithm will be clear to all of us. So usually the steps at any instant of doing clustering will be represented by a graphical structure. It is called the dendrogram. Dendrogram is a very common one structure which we follow to represents what is the state of clustering at any instant. Programming environment, MATLAB, R programming, Spark, even Python also have included to show you dendrogram automatically. Suppose you are doing clustering, at any instant, it will give you the graph structure of the clustering state. Now, so dendrogram is very important concept in hierarchical clustering technique. Now let's see what a dendrogram represents. So first consider the divisive concept. As we know, divisive concept is splitting a larger cluster into smaller one. So definitely splitting will start from some point. So the initial point that we can start is taking all objects into one cluster. So initially there is a one cluster only, and in that cluster all objects belong to that cluster. So this is called the starting level. After that, there is a criteria. Based on that criteria, we can split this one into one. So this is another smaller cluster based on splitting. So this is, we can say, the next level. And in the next level, starting with ABC, again we can split into AB and C. And if we continue like this, it will go on this one. So divisive algorithm, it actually go like this. In each level, it will split a larger cluster into smaller one. And this kind of partitioning, I should not say partitioning, rather this kind of splitting can be better represented by the graph as I show you. So this is the divisive algorithm. And in contrast to divisive, there is another algorithm. It is called the agglomerative. In case of agglomerative, starting point is here, where all the single objects represents each cluster. So if there are n objects, so at the starting point, there are n clusters. Now, at the next level, we have to check which two clusters can be merged. For example, here A, B can be merged here, and here D, E can be merged there. Then at the next level, this cluster and this cluster is merged, this cluster and this cluster is merged to this cluster. And at the final level, obviously, if we go down, then it will leads to a larger class, and ultimately, if we don't stop, of course, it will lead to the whole objects into a single cluster. Anyway, so this is the agglomerative clustering, and as you see, agglomerative clustering starts with n clusters, and then at each level reduce the number of clusters by one, so that we can stop somewhere. Of course, there is a stopping criteria. We shall discuss about what is the stopping criteria to stop it. Even in the divisive algorithm also, if we don't stop, ultimately it will terminate to all cluster into a single, all objects belongs to a single cluster. All clusters belong containing single objects in each. So this is the idea. And this dendrogram can show you at any level. So at the level 1 or level 2, whatever the level is, it will show the status of clustering. So it is a pictorial description of the progress of a clustering technique, whether it is based on divisive or dendrogram. Both are visible. So this is the concept. Now let us first start with divisive hierarchical algorithm, which we have already told you. So this algorithm is based on the top-down strategy. So here at the top, all objects belong to one cluster, and then as the level increases, it will break down the cluster. So that is why top to down, and at the ultimate level, all objects constitute smallest cluster that is possible. So this is the idea about top-down strategy, and divisive hierarchical algorithm follow top-down strategies. On the other hand, the agglomerative hierarchical techniques follow bottom-up strategy. So what is the bottom-up? At the bottom, all clusters are comprised with a single object. And then as we go, right, as we go up, it will merge, right, to smaller cluster into larger one. So this is called the bottom up, and definitely ultimately, right, it will lead to the largest cluster that is possible. Now definitely there are some, right, some steps should be followed. That is called the termination condition, when we should stop. Because if we go on, right, repeating the same step, then definitely they will lead to the ultimate cluster. Ultimate cluster is the default or trivial cluster, right? So those things are definitely not desirable. All objects belong to single cluster, or all objects belong to their individual clusters, which are not a good clustering concept, of course. So we have to stop somewhere there. So there are definitely some termination condition, which we shall be able to learn it. Now, so these are the two concepts, the divisive hierarchical clustering and agglomerative hierarchical clustering technique. Now, there are two base algorithms. The two base algorithms, one is based on divisive hierarchical clustering, and this base algorithm is called Diana. The another base algorithm, it is called agglomerative. It is based on agglomerative hierarchical clustering and is called Agnesh. I am telling these two algorithms are the base algorithms. This is because there are many other improvement or the extension has been reported based on these two base algorithms. So this means learning these two base algorithms will be enough to understand what are the extensions or the improvement proposed by another algorithm. This is why in this class, I shall limit my discussion to discuss Diana and Agnesh, and then what are the possible extension to each of these techniques also will be highlighted. So first let us start about the divisive clustering algorithm, that is the Diana. Now the algorithm which was proposed in year 1990 by Kaufman and Rashio, they proposed this concept and they named it as Diana. Diana is a short form of divisive analysis. So from there they have told that it is the Diana. Diana algorithm based on the concept of splitting. Now here, what exactly the splitting concept that needs to be learned. This splitting concept proposed is a mathematical concept, is proposed by McNaughton Smith in 1964. Now here, why this splitting concept is important. Now here you have a very large cluster, and then how many ways you can split it. Say suppose your cluster contains n objects in it, right? N objects in it. So it is the large cluster where the n objects are there, right? Then what are the how many ways that you can split it, right? How many ways that you can split it? So it is actually n objects. In how many ways we can find the number of subsets. Now here you can check it, the number of subsets that is possible with n objects is 2 to the n minus 1. So that means how many different subsets or other subclusters that can be obtained given a large cluster with n objects in it. So this is the number. Now out of this number, we have to consider only one, right? One, or we can consider the two subsets. That means from there we have to consider the two smaller subset. So out of 2 to the power n minus 1, these two are to be chosen. So if we don't follow the splitting judiciously, then definitely we have to end up with so many possibilities to explore, and which is time consuming. You cannot afford it, because if there are a large number of objects are involved in your clustering technique. So it is practically impossible to try out with all possible combinations which we can think for splitting. That is why there is an intelligent approach. It is called the splitting concept, which we follow, which help you to reduce the time to find which will be the best splitting objects. So let's see, it is very interesting to know what is the splitting concept that you can think about it. I'm telling you one idea. What is the splitting concept that is proposed by the McNaughton and Smith in 1964. So suppose there are 6 objects as it is shown here in this figure, right? And consider that they are all into one cluster. Anyways, okay. Now, so it is the initial set of objects that is given to you to perform a clustering. What is the idea? Idea is that for each object, you have to calculate the distance from this object to all other remaining objects. For example, here, if we consider the object number 3, then we should calculate the distance from this object number 3 to all other objects. So these are the D1, right? And this is the D2. So E. So if there are n objects, definitely you will be able to get n into n minus 1 by 2 distances. So many distances for each object, right? We can store it in a matrix or in an array, not an issue. So these are the distances. Then what is the next procedure? Calculate the average distances for this object. What is the average distances? D1 plus D2 plus dot dot dot. So if there are n minus 1 distances are there, then D1 plus D2 plus dot 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 up to Dn minus 1 by n minus 1. So these are the average distances. Now for object 3, we can calculate average distances. Then for this object also we can calculate average distances. And these objects also we can calculate average distances. So this way n into n minus 1 by 2 average distances we can calculate. This is the second step. And then third step, we have to select that object which has the greatest average distance, the largest average distance. So out of so many average distance that we have calculated in the step 1 and step 2 procedure, we can choose this one. Now this object can be termed as a sprinter object, or you can say leader object, which we can consider to find a subcluster centering with that object. So idea again, for example, so object 6 is found to be the objects having the greatest average distance. Then what we can do in the next step is that from this sprinter object, that means 6, we can check out which are the nearest to this object. Say suppose 4 and 5 are nearest to this object. So we can make these objects into this cluster. And they are not nearest compared to any other objects which are here. So they can be considered into another cluster. So this way, initially all the objects those are given to you, you will be able to split it. And that is the splitting concept it is followed here. And this is the level 1. Suppose in the next level, we have to repeat the same procedure. I'll tell you. I hope you have understood about it, right? So in the next step, that means again further splitting into the next level rather. So you have two options, either this cluster to be splitted again or this cluster to be splitted again. Now you have to choose which one you should consider. This algorithm Diana says choose that cluster which has the largest diameter. Now, what is the meaning of largest diameter? Largest diameter is the longest distance between two objects which are belong to that cluster. Say suppose this is the longest distance between the two objects and this is the longest distance between the two objects. So the diameter of this cluster, let it be D1, and diameter of this cluster, let it be D2. Now, for next splitting, we should choose that cluster which has the largest diameter. That means this cluster should be considered for choosing. Again, it is the same procedure. Now, in this case, you consider only these are the objects that is given to you. Again, you have to split it. For example, starting with this, the largest cluster with largest diameter, we split this into this one. And then we can repeat the same procedure until we can reach a stopping criteria. So, for example, cluster again considered to split because it is the largest one. It has given this C5 and C6. And then again, it becomes the largest one. So it is splitted into this one and this one. And we can continue this way. As the top-down approach proceeded, we will be able to come to the smallest cluster. And then there will be obviously a stopping criteria, which we shall discuss in a different discussion. Now, whatever the concept that we have discussed, they can be readily displayed with the help of dendrogram. So this is the dendrogram, as you can see. So C5, C6 initially started. So initially it is here. We can start from here where all objects belong to the one cluster. So it now divided into C1 and C2. C2 becomes C3, C4. C4 becomes C5, C6. C1 becomes C7, C8. Now this is actually looks like a hierarchy. That is why this concept is called the hierarchical clustering technique. And dendrogram definitely shows in a hierarchical fashion. Now in this case, it is a top-down hierarchy. Or if you just upside down, then it becomes a bottom-up hierarchy. So this is why it is the hierarchical discuss. And here you can note in this, here I have mentioned some similarity. Better I could tell it that cluster quality, right? So what is the idea about? Here, starting with this one, the cluster quality measured by means of a metric and let it be found at 8.1. Now I can tell you what do we mean by the cluster quality. It is not a new thing to you because you have already followed how to measure the quality of a cluster. You can recall while I was discussing about partitioning based technique, that time I told cluster quality means it is the intra-cluster distance or it is the inter-cluster distance. So intra or inter. So if it is the intra-cluster similarity, then it can be considered as a quality of cluster. So the objective is that intra-cluster similarity should be low and inter-cluster similarity should be high. Now here suppose this gives the inter-cluster similarity of the cluster once it is splitted C into C1, C2. So it is 8.1. At this level, it becomes 6.4 and so on. Now, if we say, let it be, it is inter-cluster similarity because it is reducing. Now here, although I have mentioned some imaginary values, so whatever the clustering quality measurement you follow, it is based on that one. As you can see, it either increase or decrease depending on what quality measure you follow. Now, here you can consider a threshold. The threshold is that, okay, I cannot extend this up to more than 6.5. Then you can stop it here. So your clustering technique, it is therefore, it is like this. But if you say that, okay, it can be 6 is the threshold, then you can go up to this one so that you can stop it. So this is the clustering, right? As you can end here. So after the end of this, right, criteria, you can land up with C7, C8, C3, C4 are the 4 clusters. If you go a little bit down, again, there will be more clusters will obtain and so on. So clustering termination criteria, according to this hierarchical clustering technique, based on some quality measurement, and that quality measure can help us to decide a threshold value, and based on this threshold value, we can stop at any level. So this is the idea about Diana algorithm. And the algorithm which I have mentioned in a very simple way with the figures, it is mentioned in a more formal way using an algorithm. It is easy to understand the algorithm. If you want to write a program to implement an algorithm, then definitely you should follow this kind of algorithmic step. So the algorithm is easily understandable it, and this is the starting point where initially all objects belong to one cluster. Then split the cluster Ci as follows. Find the object that has the greatest average distance, which I told you. Let this object be X. Then the object X initiate a new cluster Ci plus 1. So starting with the Ci, it will be Ci plus 1. So it is C4, maybe it is C5. So that means C4 will be splitted into C4 and C5. It is like this. Then we have to decide whether this X, will be moved to Ci plus 1 or other objects will be under this splinter group Ci plus 1. So to do this, it will measure, this is the one distance, right, for all the objects which are belong to that splinter cluster. And this is the distance measurement for all the objects which are not under the splinter cluster. So two distance calculation can be done. So in other words, I can say it is actually the intra distance, and it is, you can say that inter distance line. Now having two distance measurement, then it is your decision. If DCI, that means if this distance is greater than this one, in case suppose if you want to take the decision based on the inter-cluster similarity or alternatively in inter-cluster similarity. So here, then we can move the object from the current splinter group to the newly formed splinter group or not. So this is the procedure by which the splinter group will grow by selecting each and every object once it is done. And then this will lead to the splitting of the larger cluster into two smaller one, and then the procedure will be repeated considering the diameter calculation. I told you how to calculate the diameter. Diameter calculation means it is the largest distance between two objects belongs to a particular cluster. So that is the diameter. And then we can go on splitting the same procedure. That means step 2 to 8 will be repeated, and then it will continue until it will satisfy some convergence criteria. Convergence criteria means based on certain quality measurement, it reaches to the threshold value. So this is the idea about the Diana algorithm.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, why we are starting with largest average? Can you throw some light on it?
Yeah, good. That is fine. In fact, I forgot to mention it. Now there are two things you can note down. Is a good. One is that greatest average distance. What is the meaning of that greatest average distance? Right. So greatest average distance, it implies that the objects which are little bit different than the others. So this is the implication. And if it is different than the others, possibly that this object is the best object to form a new cluster. I hope you have understood, right? So greatest average distance implies that object is not so similar to the other objects. It is bit a dissimilar objects. So being a dissimilar objects, better it can be put into a new cluster. So this is why the idea about what is called the selecting the splinter object is there. Now, second point, exactly you have pointed out right thing, is that why we have chosen the cluster with the largest diameter. And you know, alternatively, if we could choose the other cluster which is the smallest one, So this means if we select the smallest one, it will make a granularity. That means a smaller one should be, but our objective is to split it into the smaller one. So better that we can start with the larger one. So a cluster with largest diameter implies that it is the larger cluster. It is a large cluster than the other cluster. So that is why our next step should start with the cluster which has the largest diameter. I think it is okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Now let's come to the time cost of complexity to implement this algorithm. Now here the major computation which are involved, as you know, to calculate the greatest average distance. As I have already told you, so if there are n objects are involved, then from this object to all other objects, so n minus 1 distances to be computed. And the same procedure should be repeated with all n objects. So thereby n into n minus 1 by 2 number of distance calculation come into the picture. So this means the complexity is in the scale of n square. If n is 10, it is 100. If n is 100, it will be 10 to the power 4 and so on. As the complexity increases in a square fashion. So that is why the complexity in that order. Okay, and it is a good point is that I told you this is the clever method of splitting. Instead of taking the possibility of 2 to the power n minus 1 possible clusters, right? We have to just only start with only one splitting step. So this way we really save the time compared to the exhaustive splitting checking. So that is why it is good. So 2 to the power n, it is actually an exponential complexity. So from the exponential complexity, we come down to a very simple complexity. So that is why the Diana is very good on algorithm, because it is really compared to other algorithm we are going to discuss in this category, that means hierarchical category, it is one better clustering technique. However, so this is the idea about the clustering technique. And then another advantage of this clustering technique compared to the k-means algorithm, as you can, here we don't have to fix a k value at the very beginning of clustering technique. It will take the actual k value of its own course at the time of we are splitting towards our satisfying threshold criteria. So k value does not need to be specified here in Diana, in contrast to all the partitioning technique where we have to mention what should be the k value. So k value will be decided automatically. And it is obviously more practical in many situations when you don't know how many clusters you to have. Suppose a basket of vegetables it is given to you, you don't know how many different varieties of vegetables are there. So if you don't know, then definitely you will not be able to fix the k value. But in case of Diana algorithm, it is not required, and then it will end with the desirable number of clusters that is actually fit for that application. So this is why this Diana algorithm has its own edges compared to the partitioning algorithm, which we have already learned, and then other algorithm agglomerative, which we are going to learn about it. Now here, in case of Diana algorithm, the researchers has proposed one quality estimation technique. And this quality estimation technique popularly called DC measurement, or DC stands for divisive coefficient. What is the divisive measurement? Is very simple. Say suppose at any level you have n number of clusters, and then at that level you can calculate divisive coefficient. What is the divisive coefficient? Let del C is a measurement that is actually telling you the diameter of a last cluster. Okay, so diameter of a cluster. Then DC measurement says that at any level, take the average of the diameters of all the cluster in that level, right? So this is a simple metric. It can be calculated easily. It is not the so much time that is required, because you are calculating the diameter of each clusters, and then you can keep record of all the diameters and then use that diameter calculation to find the DC calculation. So this DC gives you the average diameters of all the clusters that you have, and that can be considered as a cluster quality estimation, and that estimation of quality estimation you can consider as a splitting criteria. I mean the threshold, that how much down that you want to go for splitting that object. So this is the one. Divisive coefficient is used in Diana algorithm to calculate the cluster quality. Now, Diana is computationally expensive because order of n square calculation is required. And again, you can see that order of n square calculation, it was there in case of our k-means algorithm also. But from the storage point of view, we don't have to store that much of information. Only we can store one matrix to calculate the distance from one object to another object, and another storage that you can consider to store the calculation of diameter of all the clusters that you have obtained at any intermediate step. So this way, the Diana algorithm is better. Further, here you can see the k-means algorithm, which was influenced by the initial choice of cluster centroid. This is also another advantage of this Diana over the k-means. The initial choice, if you don't do it properly, then it leads to another the clustering. That is why the k-means algorithm usually end up with the non-global solution, or it is a local optimum solution. But here in case of Diana, you see you don't have to go for any initial choice of cluster, right? It is actually based on splinter object selection. Splinter object selection based on greatest average distance calculation. But here the cluster may not be unique. In some situation, when two objects or two or more objects, if you found which have the same greatest average distance, then there is a dilemma that which objects you have to select as a splinter object. In that case, you can take any one arbitrarily and then start with. It will of course give the two different or two non-uniform clusters, but all clusters will follow the same quality. So this is the good. Another problem that Diana is that it is the irrevocable clustering. So it is actually a greedy strategy which is good in Diana. Okay, so could you please stop your microphone? Yeah, so it follows the greedy strategy to follow idea. So greedy strategy means based on the greedy rule. The greedy rule is that select the objects as a splinter object which has greatest average distance. Alternatively, you could do other criteria or heuristic rule, select that object which has the smallest one also. But anyway, a lot of studies has revealed that, okay, this criteria, this heuristic rule works better so far this greedy approach is concerned. But it has one immediate consequence. The consequence is that take one object as a splinter object and then do the clustering or splitting, and you will not be able to come back one, considering that this one, if you could select this other object, then it could give you a better clustering. So once a cluster is splitted, it cannot be undone at a later stage. That is why maybe that you will be losing little bit exploring better clustering. If without this heuristic rule, it can give maybe better one. So always heuristic rule gives better result, but not guaranteed to give always better result. So this is the policy is there, but heuristic rule we follow in any situation when there is a time explosion involved. So as here the time explosion is involved, trying out with all possible splittings. So that is why, so we can rely this okay. And in the most of the cases, it observed that this Diana usually land up with better cluster. Okay, so this is the algorithm which is called the DB-ship hierarchical clustering algorithm, which we have learned. I hope you have understood it. Little bit more refined study it is required so that you will be able to learn it. It is easy in that sense, of course, right? So you please follow the slide to understand thoroughly in your own space. Now, next hierarchical clustering technique is called agglomerative hierarchical clustering technique. Now, let us see what is the concept of agglomerative right there, and then what are the steps that you can follow it. Agglomerative word is very much common in chemistry or in physics. The idea is that that it is actually dictionary meaning of agglomerative is to clump things together. That means so it is clumping the things together. So that is why the name of agglomerative. And then agglomerative hierarchy clustering algorithm, it is basically doing a similar kind of thing. It try to clump two cluster into a single cluster. So this clumping, automatically you can say it is a merging line. So it is merging, right? Now here, so far the merging is concerned, follow the bottom-up strategy. The meaning is that smaller cluster will be merged into objects belong to each their own clusters. So this strategy proposed by
Sir, your voice is breaking.
you who proposed that. Okay, now it is clear.
Now, yes.
Okay, fine. Maybe that. Okay, there are some noises. Anyway, so it is short formed as AGNES. AGNES actually stands for agglomerative nesting. So that is why the name is so popular. It is the AGNES. Now let us see what is the basic procedure. So for the AGNES algorithm is concerned, there are only 5 steps, right? And this algorithm consists of 5 steps only. The first step, it is the initialization. The initialization says that if you have given n objects, then put each objects into their respective cluster. So x1 belongs to cluster C1, x2 belongs to cluster C2, and then nth object belongs to the cluster Cn. So that is the initialization. So individually all objects belong to their single cluster. So n objects, so it will give you n clusters. So this step is easy to follow, absolutely no problem. Now next is inter-cluster distance calculation. So calculate the distance between each pair of clusters. So if there are m clusters at any instant, so it will give you d1, d2, dp number of distance calculated, where p is equals to m into m minus 1 by 2 distance measure. And this distance measure you can follow actually on the concept of similarity measures, which we have already discussed. Then next comes to the merging. Choose the clusters with 2 lowest values. So 2 lowest values implies that the distance between the 2 clusters, actually we can say the inter-cluster distance is minimum. So you can choose 2 clusters which has the minimum inter-cluster distance, and then they can be considered for merging. So merge them. Then in each step, as you can understand, n number of clusters become n minus 1 after one merging, and then next level will start, and this procedure will be repeated until we can reach to a termination criteria. Here the termination criteria you may consider the intercluster distance should reach to this kind of right minimum values, and then we can stop it here. So this idea actually is the AGNES algorithm follows. Now here is the okay, as I said, the dendrogram can be right drawn at each level, showing actually which clusters are combined with which other clusters and so on. So at the starting point, as you see, all objects belong to individual cluster. It is like this. And as you can see here in the next level, AB, these two are merged, and then EF are merged, and IJ is merged, right? Because of that interdistance calculation. Then at the next level, as you see, these two clusters are merged, these two clusters are merged, and then these two clusters are merged. Okay, and at the next level, as you see, these two clusters are merged, and then they remains like this one, and so on. So this way, the hierarchical bottom-up strategy will work, and you will be able to see the progress of this algorithm through the help of dendrogram of the clusters at any instant. So this is the idea that you can, right? It is followed there, but here the concept it is that we have already considered the intercluster distance calculation. This is the one policy that we can follow, intercluster distance, but other policy, again, like Diana algorithm, it is also heuristic or greedy strategy. There is greedy strategy used to follow whenever there is a huge number of calculations involved. Because here in this figure, you can try out whether A should be clustered with B, or A should be with C, or A should be D. Similarly for B and others also to be checked out. And then so many checkings it is required in order to decide that which two should be there. And in order to avoid it, heuristic rule that we have followed. Now in general, based on the hierarchical clustering technique which follows the agglomerative principle, there are three heuristic rules followed. One is called the mean heuristic rule, another is called the max, and another is called clique. So mean heuristic rule, it says that the distance, minimum intercluster distance between any two clusters Ci, Cj. The max rule says that the maximum intercluster distance between any two clusters Ci and Cj. And average distance calculation, if it is followed, then it is called the clique heuristic rule. So clique heuristic rule says that you calculate the distance from any one object to all other objects and then take the average calculation. So if you consider any two clusters, and then we can calculate the clique. So idea it is like this. So D mean, as you can see, how the two clusters each other, D mean calculation. So pictorially, a D mean calculation looks like this. And then D max calculation is just opposite to D mean. It means how two clusters are, right? So then this can be considered the D mix calculation. And then clique is the average distance each, right, objects belongs to one cluster to other objects belong to other cluster. So this is the clique measurement which pictorially look like this. Now definitely if we follow this heuristic rule, then thresholding criteria or termination criteria will be different than this one. And if we follow this one, then threshold criteria. So depending on the which heuristic rule you follow, the criteria will be different. Now based on the three different criteria, there are actually three different clustering algorithm, or we can say three different hierarchical clustering algorithm based on the principle of agglomeratives are known. One, it is called nearest neighbor clustering algorithm, which is also alternatively called MST clustering algorithm. Then there is a light modification on the MST clustering algorithm, which is also called single linkage algorithm. What I want to say, the nearest neighbor clustering algorithm, the MST clustering algorithm, and single linkage algorithm, all three algorithms are same, but they are based on this, the heuristic, the mean average distance calculation. So this is the Agnes with mean. Similarly, Agnes with max. It is also alternatively called farthest neighbor clustering algorithm, or it is also called complete linkage algorithm. So here the heuristic that we follow, the max heuristic. Then the clique, if we follow in the heuristic, then it is called the clique algorithm. Clique is a very popular algorithm because it usually gives better result. Now here there are few important points that we can note down, so that it is based on the thorough study and then experiment with the different heuristics, and then how they do the job fairly. That is actually reported. The single linkage algorithm is to maximize intra-cluster similarity, whereas the complex linkage algorithm is to minimize the diameter of clusters. So in some application, if your objective is to maximize the intra-cluster similarity, then you are advisable to go for single linkage algorithm. On the other hand, to minimize the size of the cluster, then you can go for complete linkage algorithm. So depending on your requirement, you can decide which heuristic you want to follow. Then threshold values in single linkage and complex linkage algorithm, obviously you can choose it arbitrarily, but it should be appropriate to that criteria that you follow. Now, single linkage algorithm, it is observed that it is very good at handling non-elliptical shapes. That means if it is not flattened-like, but it is more or less circular shape, then usually single linkage algorithm is good. On the other hand, the single linkage algorithm is sensitive to noise and outliers, because noise and outliers, definitely your cluster will not be a uniform shape, rather is a elliptical or non-elliptical shapes it is there. On the other hand, complex linkage algorithm is less susceptible to noise and outliers. So, but however, it can break large cluster into very smaller number of clusters. That is the one drawback of this complex linkage algorithm that you have. Anyway, so it depends on. Usually, you have to try out with different heuristic rule, and then accordingly the different clustering, and then you have to choose the best one based on your budget or based on your requirement, and then you can follow whether simple linkage or complete linkage or clique based algorithm that you can think about it. Now, Agnes with clique, as I said, it is also alternatively called average linkage algorithm. Now, this is actually a win-win situation between single and complete. So sometimes you are not happy with the single linkage, sometimes you are not happy with the complete linkage, then why you should not try with this heuristic clique? And it is usually, okay, try to minimize the intra-cluster, at the same time, don't, right? Or it's at the same time, it avoids to breaking down into globule clusters, globulous clusters. So it is actually in between the two, single and complete linkage. That is why clique is, right, is the more a popular choice for the researcher in their application. Now there is another variation of this method, Agnes, hierarchical clustering algorithm, and this method is due to Ward, and it is called the Ward's method. It is actually a different concept than the min, max, and clique based hierarchical partitioning, agglomerative partitioning, agglomerative clustering. So here, now you can note down, in case of the algorithm which we have discussed in case of Agnes, here, in case of Ward, the difference is that Ward method will consider an object which belongs to a cluster as its centroid. So the centroid concept is introduced into the Ward method. And this centroid is calculated, and then it measures the proximity between two clusters in terms of the increase in sum of squared error. That means, again, SSE error calculation, you can recall, we have once used it in case of partitioning technique. So Ward method actually combining that concept into this hierarchical concept. That means you can start with, you can select an object as a centroid, and then centroid selection based on this SSE error minimization. So minimum SSE, right? And then this centroid will be used to decide which two clusters can be considered for merging. So here, minimize the sum of square distance of object from their cluster centroid. Ward's method is very similar to the, then finally it is the clique method. then okay, you can find this centroid to find the average distances or click distances from other clusters. And then if we find the two clusters which has this calculation is lower than any other two clusters, then right, those are the two clusters having the right average linkage minimum considered for merging. So the WAR method is just only considering extra calculation, the extra calculation of selecting a centroid, and then centroid selection will be the same concept based on the k-means algorithm that we have considered about it. It is actually centroid is not necessarily a physical object, it can be a virtual object also. And for this centroid, you can calculate the average, the click distance, right? So it is actually a combination of click distance and then centroid calculation. That is the WAR method actually. So this actually, so WAR method is therefore a good blend of partitioning technique. It is a good blend of the click one. Click is a good blend of single and then complete linkage. So this way, WAR method is we can consider the far better than the algorithm in this category. Now, so far the implementation of this concern, as you know, we have to calculate all possible distances, and then at the very beginning, the distance matrix should have its largest size, it is n cross n, and then distance measurement, or it is actually a similarity measurement. If all the objects are defined in terms of your numerical attributes, then better the L2 norm can be considered. But otherwise, L2 norm, L1 norm also can be considered, or also you can consider the cosine similarity, whatever it is applicable to you that you can take. Now, the dendrogram should be followed to understand how the clustering techniques can be approaching and then where you have to stop it. So this is the dendrogram so that you can think about it. It is a hypothetical one example, but the real life example, if it is given to you, you will be able to just report these are the measurement. We can say single linkage criteria measurement if we consider the single linkage or if we consider WARS calculation. So here actually according to the WARS matrix, the WARS dendrogram, and this is the average linkage dendrogram, and this is the complete linkage dendrogram and single linkage dendrogram. Now here you can understand about from the many measurements and then which one giving a better result, that can be easily decided. So it one like this, and then if it is the average, it is like this, and it is like this. Now from this calculation you can keep track, and then finally you can decide which algorithm works better for your approach. So this is quality conscious technique that you can follow. Otherwise time also can be noted down. So this algorithm taking this time for this number of objects to be clustered, and this one, then we can decide which cluster that you can follow it is here. Now finally let's come to the discussion of all the agglomerative hierarchical clustering techniques which we have just now discussed. Overall, the agglomerative hierarchical clustering algorithm is simple. It is simple in the sense that it requires only fewer calculation compared to the Diana algorithm. So that is why it is called the simple. It is simple yet effective to give a better quality cluster. It also avoids the solving combinatorial problem. Combinatorial problem means exploration of the time. If you are, for example, n square, the complexity, then so n square means a higher order complexity. But this algorithm has the lower complexity than this one. And of course, you have to check out that at any level, your clustering techniques does not tap into the local optima. That is sometimes it is very difficult to decide, but it is actually the trial and rule that you can think about it. Now, like Diana algorithm, there is also one metric that usually the researchers follow to measure the quality of cluster, and it is called the AC measurement. So in case of Diana, it is DC measurement, and it is called the AC measurement called the agglomerative coefficient. The agglomerative coefficient calculation is very simple. The idea is it computes it is actually measure the clustering structure of the set. It is defined by this XCI denotes if X is an object belong to a class Ci, then distance from these objects belong to that cluster Ci, and then taking all the objects into that cluster and then this one. So this is eventually it is actually the intra-cluster similarity measurement. So taking for all clusters and then taking the sum of all clusters, it will give you this one. And then finally decide the diameter between the two clusters, right? And then this will give you the agglomerative coefficient calculation. Okay, so this actually you see D denotes the similarity of the last two clusters. So before merging and after merging, right? If you can calculate AC before merging and if you can calculate AC after merging, this will help you to understand whether you can go for further merging or you can stop it here. So this way, the AC measurement can help you to decide how you can proceed further. Now let's come to the complexity analysis discussion. Here, storage space is a bit high. The total space complexity, because we have to calculate all possible distances as well as in case of click, for example, all possible average distance calculation, then it is actually order of n square calculation in case of clicks, right? And then if we repeat the same procedure, right, in a worst case, if we go so globular shape, then it will come down to order of n cube. So obviously it is a worst situation. Usually on the average situation, it takes order of n square complexity, only the space, but so far the time complexity is concerned, it is not so much high other than the worst situation that we can think about it. Now there is a further improvement of this agglomerative clustering technique, which is called the Barch algorithm. So there are many other improvements also known in the literature. Then one of the important algorithm improvement over the agglomerative hierarchical clustering, it is called the Barch. Barch is proposed in 1996. You can know that, okay, 6 years down the lane of exploring the Diana and Agnes algorithm, it is an efficient data clustering method for very large database. That means there is a, one issue or there the time complexity. So in the Barch, they have proposed some idea about how to reduce the time complexity. So it is beyond the scope of discussion of the Barch because it considers a different data structure to store the results and then different policy to merging regarding the two micro classes into a macro class. So that concept it is followed there in the Barch algorithm. Barch algorithm has online library so that you can directly use it. And in fact, all the clustering technique which I have discussed, Diana, Agnes, Click, and then PAM, and then K-means, all those algorithms have the library in MATLAB as well as R programming language in Python also. So, but understanding this concept, it will good, and then you can follow it. There are few more advancements about this technique. One is called the ROC. ROC is proposed in 1999. So it is a robust clustering algorithm for categorical attributes. Now this ROC actually use, all the clustering algorithm which we have considered assume that the objects are defined in terms of numerical attributes, but sometimes the objects are defined with categorical attributes or the mixed type of attributes. So in case ROC is one preferable algorithm which gives you a different distance measure trick to decide how the two clusters can be merged or not merged. There is another approach, it is also very popular, called the chameleon. So it is actually, they follow the different metric at the different level. That is why the name is chameleon, right? It will change its color from one level to another. So sometimes that is also, difficult choice for you to which metric you have to do it, but an experienced researcher can find it. And based on this dendrogram analysis, and then they can decide which one is better. So this is one, chameleon is another algorithm. It is a hierarchical clustering algorithm using dynamic metric for modeling or C, and it is published in 1999. So these are the different algorithms are known here. In fact, there are many clustering techniques which are known in the literature, and then many of the good algorithms are already implemented as a library. So it's a good point. But studying is not the end actually. There are many other things also available, and then it will as a huge study actually to learn all clustering techniques to know. Anyway, I have tried to give you the basic idea about the clustering algorithms, mainly two categories. One is partitioning, another is hierarchical. And under the partitioning, I discussed the k-means clustering algorithm and a modification of k-means. It is called the PAM algorithm, or it is a Medoid algorithm, k-Medoid algorithm. Next, so far the agglomerative clustering techniques are concerned, I have discussed two clustering techniques, Diana and Agnes. So Diana has its own way of splitting a larger cluster into smaller. On the other hand, Agnes is its own way of splitting, merging two smaller clusters into larger clusters. So these are the basic concept that is followed, and then the different ideas that it is followed there, which has been there. It could be good to write a program and then study about it. Otherwise, it is fine. Now, if you have any question, so please, if you have any question, please.
So what's the syllabus for the final exam?